Oh, I could have did it. Oh well. Hey everybody, it says I'm live. For some reason, I tried to start this video before, and it was stuck on going live. So then I refreshed it, and I hit go live. And then it popped up with the OBS camera, and it wasn't even on. I'm like, okay. Excuse me. So my golden year has it's been a little slower than I thought it would be. I've been tired. But I am there are some things I've been doing more and more every day. Just I guess kind of sort of building out new habits and new patterns because it's Pisces season, so why not do some Virgo things? Um what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna run through um the days that I've missed in my daily calendar. I feel that, we can get messages from like anywhere. And they're kind of sort of constantly coming. It's just the ones that we pay attention to more so than the ones that we don't pay attention to necessarily. The last day I tore off was the 24th of February because the 25th is still here. So we got quite a few days to go through. Also, I've been noticing that there are some things that have been heavy on my mind and some ways that I don't know why I'm wearing these. I'm not listening to anything anymore. No cafe jazz today. I could put it on, but I kind of want to, but I'm not gonna do it. Um, some things that have been on my mind that I really wanted to do or to help with before I left. But between last night and this morning, I don't have to necessarily worry about those anymore, which is really nice. And it's not that I necessarily felt that I could do anything anyway. Um, but somehow we've all found our way to where we need to be. So now I feel much more comfortable in leaving. Um, and also, my buddy came back to the States today. I told him that he should have let me know so I could have been packed and ready for him to pick me up on his way home. But he was like, "Oh, I gotta like quarantine and then get tested or whatever." I was like, "I trust you." So I'm excited to hopefully visit him because he's been on my mind a lot lately, and I really want to see him. Um, but of course, he's probably gonna spend some time with his girlfriend first. I mean, he can spend time with both of us. You know, um, he can spend the evenings with her. Well, he worked. So anyway. Also, I think I mentioned how I've been like randomly fixating on things when I go into the store. So yesterday, so I got about an hour. I'm about to play a game with a buddy that I haven't like hung out with in a minute. So with a different buddy. Um, and so I got a minute because we were originally gonna start like 4 minutes ago, but he's getting a haircut or something, so we're gonna start in an hour. Anyway, I was in the store and I randomly fixated on something, and I said that I'm gonna start buying the thing in the store because I end up needing it anyway. I forgot that I had said that, but I randomly fixated on it yesterday. I bought it, and today my mom is like, "Do we have any saltines? Like, I need some. I think my stomach's a little empty." And I looked in the cabinet and we didn't have any saltines, but I randomly fixated on some Premier saltine crackers yesterday. So I had some in my room, and that was really nice. Um, but yeah, today's been the last like 12 hours or less. Well, yeah, more than 12 hours because 12 hours ago it was 2:30 in the morning. The last like 16 hours have been really kind to me in the way of like, I don't know, it's not necessarily my concern, really. But I was a little bit concerned. But everything at home is good. I don't have to be here. I can move on with my life. um, which again, it's really comforting in a way that I didn't really know how to be present. But I guess sometimes we just hold space and we keep people in our thoughts and prayers. And every day I get on with my grandma and our little family group and we cover the family. So it works. Prayers work. Blessings work. So let's get into these. So the 26th of February was Heritage Day in YT. I don't know what. Oh, the Yukon Territory. Canada's Yukon Territory covers about 186,272 square miles, or slightly less than the size of Spain, which is 194,897 square miles. Okay. The Yukon Territory. This is actually something. One second. I'm going to lock my door so I don't get interrupted. Um, so, as I was saying, this is something that I probably should have known about when I took Intro to Synthetic Biology. I thought my professor was African American. Turns out he's Jamaican Canadian. So I was wrong on both accounts. Um, but anyway, which is also interesting because Queen Cup uploaded yesterday, I think. And House of Oshun uploaded yesterday too. I was excited because they both uploaded on the same day. I ain't watch all the videos I want to watch. Oh, that's what I was gonna watch. Anyway, he would give us random Canada facts that were worth extra credit on our exams. And there was one of them. I knew it because people were talking about because I was missing class. I did class outside of class. And so outside of class, I missed the Canada facts, but they were talking about the facts before the exam. And there was one question about um, something like a Dutch territory in Canada, or a Dutch settlement, or something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, there's this fact. It's the Yukon Territory. That also reminds me of the gold rush for some reason. Did people go up to the Yukon Territory? And it's right on the border of Alaska, according to the image. I feel like that makes sense. They also have like Yukon potatoes or something, right? I don't know. The 27th and 28th is giving us when the moon shone, we did not see the candle. So doth the greater glory dim the less. And this was for the weekend of the 27th and the 28th of February, which gave us that full snow moon right there on the 27th. When the moon shone, we did not see the candle. So doth the greater glory dim the less. That's an eclipsing energy. And the moon, that moon almost looks like a sun. It's interesting though that it's not coming out with the sun. So it's in a dark space. So we have the moon and kind of. I just did the sun, the moon, and the stars last night. When the moon shine, I feel like I get this, but I don't know how to put it into words. This one, I could grab the kawaiis. I kind of want to grab the Weaver Oracle, but I don't feel like reading. I guess I don't necessarily have to read. I'll go for the Weaver Oracle. I was trying to shortcut with the Kawaii Tarot, but we'll do it. Why not? Because like both the moon, like the candle is used to illuminate the night. But on the night of a full moon, you don't need the candle because the moon is full. I mean, look how big that moon is. They can probably see pretty well. Also, speaking of moons, one of my friends just shared a more accurate image of the solar system, and you see all the moons. And like Saturn and Jupiter have so many moons, it's crazy. Like I'm like I can't even imagine what astrology would be like on like Jupiter. Like my Ganymede is in Pisces, my Io is in Aries, because they got like so many moons. Here on Earth, we got one moon. It's also interesting because I don't think Mars has a moon. Does it? Let's ask Siri. Hey Siri, does Mars have a moon?
Here's an answer from Wikipedia.org.
Mars has two moons.
The two moons of Mars are Phobos and Deimos.
Phobos and Deimos. I feel like I've heard of those. Not surprising because Greek mythology and Greco-Roman mythology I know a little bit about. So I don't think Venus has a moon though. Hey Siri, does Venus have a moon?
Here's what I found from Wikipedia.org.
Venus does not have any moons.
Venus does not have any moons, a distinction it shares only with Mercury among the planets in the solar system.
So Venus and Mercury are the only two planets in the solar system that don't have moons. So that makes Earth the first planet with the moon. It has one moon. Mars is the second planet with a moon, and it has two moons. And then beyond that, they have like 50 moons. And so it provides you a certain clarity that you wouldn't get on Venus or Mercury. But hey Siri, how long is a day on Mercury?
According to worldatlas.com, 24 hours make a day on Earth, while 1,408 hours make a day on Mercury.
1,408 hours. So I mean, do you need a moon? 1,408 divided by 24. That's like 58 Earth days in one day on Mercury. I wonder if that means that the night is that long as well. Hey Siri, how long is a night on Mercury?
One moment. Okay, I found this on the web for how long is a night on Mercury. Check it out.
Because it would theoretically be the same, right? I wonder if my package came today. Probably not. Let's see. The very long Mercurian day. It would be a very long work day from an Earth perspective. This is because Mercury's rotation around its axis lasts 59 days, and it takes 88 days to move around its orbit around the sun. Interesting, 59 is exactly 2/3 of 88. There's a lot of those numbers that happen in the solar system. This is not by chance, and it is an effect of the sun's gravitational field on Mercury. It is a similar phenomenon that the Earth's moon always has the same face. The moon always turns the same side towards Earth. So we always get the same dark side towards Earth as well. Maybe that's that Ophiuchus that constantly creeps in and out of our zodiacal awareness. But we always got Cancer. Most unusual effect on the Mercurian day as measured from noon to noon. Note the word day is used here to mean one daytime period plus one nighttime period, corresponding to 24 hours on Earth. Oh, that makes sense. 24 hours is a whole day. So that's day and night. On average, 176 Earth days elapse between one sunrise and the next on Mercury. This is therefore the length of the Mercurian day. I'm so confused. Hold up. So how long is the night? Oh, here we go. Year 2 on Mercury nighttime. Year 1 on Mercury daytime, maybe. Each sidereal day on Mercury lasts 58.65 Earth days. This means that it takes 58.65 Earth days for Mercury to turn once around its axis relative to the background stars. One second. Man, so it's been on this axis slow AF. On day 44, the sun reaches its highest point in the sky. It's now noon. The afternoon begins, and on day 88, the sun finally sets. So the daytime on Mercury lasts no less than 88 days. Master number 88. After the sun has set, the night falls. Midnight happens 44 days later on day 132, and the sun again rises after another 44 days. So the days are really long, but the nights are really long as well. Because I was going to say, well, if the days are long and then if the nights are short because of its proximity to or to the sun, then you wouldn't really need a moon. But how dark is the night on Mercury with it being that close to the sun? Because it could technically be nighttime because you're facing away from the sun. But if it's that close to the sun, it may still be pretty bright. Or not as dark as it is here at the very least. Hey Siri, how long is a day on Venus?
According to universetoday.com, the length of day on Venus is 243 Earth days.
So it's even longer on Venus. Which means that their night is even longer. And they ain't got no moon? Wait, okay, I'm sorry. Back to this. We're talking about Earth. And I guess moons. Well, also that makes sense though if we look at it because we have 9 planets in the solar system, including Pluto, right? My very educated mother just served us 9 pies. 10 planets including Pluto. 9 planets excluding Pluto. But we don't count Earth, so we're gonna put Pluto back in there. No, we're not. Pluto, I'm sorry. You're not a planet anymore. I know, flashbacks to 19 whatever or the early 2000s when scientists were like, oh yeah, so Pluto's not a planet anymore. It's like a dwarf ice planet or whatever. But it's like pretty big for a dwarf planet. So when we get like on the 1D and the 2D, Mercury and Venus, there is no moon. In the 3D, which is Earth, there is one moon, which is the integration of emotion. Beyond Earth, there's Mars, which has 2 moons. And then Jupiter and Saturn have like a lot more than 2 moons. And so if we look at moons as a sort of emotional complexity, then there's not much complexity here in the 3D with Earth. There's a little bit more when you get to the 4D. But if we're talking about like 5D consciousness, if we use our solar system as a guide, then things get very emotionally complex. And if we're talking about 5D consciousness manifesting that on Earth, that requires a lot more emotional complexity than I would say we have the capability of expressing if we go based off of the past, which is why I think that service to others, service to self balance can be kind of important. And again, it's like, we're in this age of Aquarius or entering the age of Aquarius, either way, coming into this 5D consciousness where we're manifesting all kinds of beautiful things on Earth. But with what has been coming to the surface in recent years, we haven't even really fully been able to like process that without making it like black or white. And things get a lot less defined. It's like, art is getting less, what do they call it? It's getting more abstract, basically. Look at this. I just got this email from Cheryl 1 minute ago. Y'all see that? I'll read it. It says, "Hi, Patrick. The world continues to evolve and change with each passing day. However, one thing that has remained constant is the value of a Purdue degree." Okay. was like, I know Cheryl. I was like, I know that name looks familiar. That name looks familiar for some reason. Let's just take the first part. The world continues to evolve and change with each passing day. Because that I was looking up how long is a day on this planet and how long is a day. Well, how long is a day on Mars? Hey Siri, how long is a day on Mars?
According to universetoday.com, on Mars, a solar day lasts 24 hours, 39 minutes, and 35 seconds.
Hey Siri, how long is a day on Jupiter?
According to universetoday.com, a day on Jupiter, also known as the sidereal rotation period, lasts 9.92496 hours.
Lasts almost 10 hours? Hey Siri, how long is a day on Saturn? That makes sense. They're gas giants.
Okay, I found this on the web for how long is a day on Saturn that makes sense.
Okay. Hey Siri, how long is a day on Saturn?
Here's an answer from caltech.edu. A day on Saturn is 10.656 hours long, while a day on Earth is 23.934 hours long.
Hey Siri, how long is a day on Neptune? I forgot.
According to
Uranus.
universetoday.com, a day on Neptune is 16 hours, 6 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Hey Siri, how long is a day on Uranus?
According to universetoday.com, a day on Uranus is 17 hours, 14 minutes, and 24 seconds.
Hey Siri, how long is a day on Pluto?
Here's what I found from caltech.edu. A day on Pluto is 6.4 days, or 153.3 hours long.
So the day in the solar system is shortest on Jupiter at 10 hours, and it's slightly at roughly 10 hours, and it's slightly longer on Saturn. And so the planet in which the day is the shortest is the one that we associate as one of the most benefic, one of the most good, one of the most opportune, one of the most auspicious. It's Jupiter, right? Big Papa Jupiter. It's like Santa Claus energy. And it's also the Wheel of Fortune, which now it makes sense. It's almost a 10-hour day. Number 10 is the Wheel of Fortune. But that's like a really quick turnaround as well. Hey Siri, how long is a year on Jupiter?
Here's what I found from mentalfloss.com. It only takes about 9.9 hours, but a Jovian year is 4,333 Earth days long.
So the day is 9.9 hours, but the year is 4,030. Hold on. Oh, hey Siri, how long is a year on Jupiter? I knew I should have taken a screenshot.
Here's an answer from mentalfloss.com.
4,333 days. So a day, it's like less than half for sure. Less than half of a day, but like 4,333 days long is the year. Oh, it's math time. 4,333 Earth days in a year times 24 hours in a day divided by 9.9 for hours in a Jupiterian day. So there's 10,504.24 days, Jupiterian days in a Jupiterian year. And it's 24:02. I just saw it on the clock. What am I doing today? I don't know. I'm just going with it. I'm just having fun. So 10,504 divided by, hold up, wait. Yeah, days divided by 12. So each zodiac season on, like in Western, every zodiac season has like 30 days. In sidereal, it's different. Now it is talking about sidereal days and years. But anyway, I guess we can look at, no, because it would have to be from a heliocentric point of view. So it's like each zodiac season on an equilateral system would be like 100 or 875 days long on Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet also associated with like philosophy and studiousness, right? Through energy of Sagittarius. Or it's like more exemplified in Sagittarius. I don't know. It is interesting though that I think it's interesting that Jupiter has the shortest day, but we associate it with it being one of the um, most benefic planets. The shortest day also means that it has the shortest night. So it faces the sun the most. But when you're that far out from the sun, how much light do you actually have on the planet? Now, it's a gaseous planet, it's a gas giant. So it's not like it has a solid surface to begin with, as far as we know. Maybe it does have a solid core, or not a core. Maybe it does have a solid like surface, but then there's a lot of gas outside of it. I don't think so. I could probably look it up, but we've talked enough about astronomy. I think I actually went looking for the book recently and I didn't see it. When I was a kid, literally a child, like literally, I don't even think I was in high school. I was in middle school. There was a lady who gave me, we have a local community college in my hometown, and she bought me an astronomy book from the community college because I was really into stars and astronomy at that point. Maybe I wanted to be an astrologer. An astrologer? Maybe I wanted to be an astronomer. I don't remember. But I was like really into planets for a little bit. Maybe we were also modeling the solar system in class or something. I don't know. The card that came out is Shadow. The shadow card is interesting when we're talking about when the moon shone, we did not see the candle, so doth the greater glory diminish the less, or dim the less. And we're talking about shadow. Shadow, as far as our interaction with shadow as light bodies, or as beings who fixate on the light, it's like it's something that's accentuated by light, right? The brighter the moon, the bigger the moon, the larger the shadows. So, although a candle doesn't provide as much light as this moon, it does provide less shadow. And we're more afraid of the shadow than we are. Um, it's like we're more afraid of the shadow than we love light. A little bit. A lot of it in a lot of ways, honestly. And so it's almost like our fear of the shadow has kept us from experiencing more light in some ways. That's why I say, and you'll hear people say the importance of the shadow and shadow work. I think the shadow is our ability, like the shadow is the vessel of the light. Our comfortability, not only comfortability with shadow, but the degree to which our shadow is healed is the degree to which we can hold, maintain, and maybe even in some ways comprehend and understand light. There are some people who are like really into the shadow and really into dark things, but not necessarily in a healed way or in a transmuted way. And I think that's where the distinction comes, because you could be like that far into the shadow, but not necessarily have an equal understanding of light. That's where that degree of like transmutation and of healing comes in. I don't know. That was a long time to be on that, but it's fine. I still don't feel like this is over. But that full snow moon was there. So, a full moon lasts until the next full moon energy. And right now the moons are full before they're new. So we hit the full moon in Pisces and Pisces. We hit the full moon in Pisces before we hit the new moon in Virgo, which is the opposite of what it was like last year at this time. At this time last year, we were still hitting the new moons before we hit the full moons. It wasn't until Leo season that we hit the full moon first, because last year we had 2 new moons in Cancer. So there's going to be a point in time, I guess, where we have 2 full moons. If we have 2 full moons, it's probably, well, I guess February is the only month that's 28 days long. A lunar cycle is roughly 28 and a half days. So theoretically, we can get a full moon in any month. It'd just be, well, we had 2 full moons in October. It would have to be 2 full moons in the same sign, because there was a full moon in Libra. No, full moon in Aries at the beginning, and then the full moon in Taurus at the end. The first, it wasn't the first. It was like, what, the third, maybe in the 31st. I don't know. But every season has 30 days, roughly. But not every month has 30 days. But it's not the month that matters, it's the season. And so that can happen. It's just as likely to happen in any season. But there may be some, I don't know. The nodes were in Cancer and Capricorn, but they had just shifted into Gemini and Sagittarius because they shifted on 5/5. The double new moon happened in Cancer season. So that was the beginning, like mid June to mid-ish July. June, July is Cancer. I feel like I'm just confusing myself. Not confusing myself, but there's a lot of discussion today. And I'm getting hungry. The more I talk, the hungrier I get. And in 27 minutes, I gotta hop on this game. Anyway, it's an energy that's continuing to unfold. It's basically what I was talking about. I ain't gotta get so deep into it. When the moon shone, we did not see the candle, so doth the greater glory dim the less. Maybe that's also speaking of, it's not a higher intention or a higher frequency. It speaks of intensity. The higher intensity wins out over the lesser intensity. And so it's not necessarily that good always wins in the end, because there was a long period of good not necessarily winning in some situations, and there are still some situations where good isn't winning. It's the higher intensity frequency that wins out in the end, because it's kind of sort of carries the energy of, like, that's what we choose more of, and the divine honors choice more than it honors anything. And so if we're not choosing good, then good isn't going to win. But the scale is shifting. More people are aligning to more. I mean, I guess, we're manifesting 5D consciousness. It's the age of Aquarius. It's kind of sort of natural. Anyway, that's what this is. The greater glory will dim the less. But if we're too afraid, then we sort of shun it. Right? Because even though the moon provides light in the dark, it accentuates, right? Is it ECC? ENTUATE? No, it's accentuate. ACCENTUATE. Hey Siri, define accentuate. I think I'm thinking
Accentuate means make more noticeable or prominent.
Yeah, to make more noticeable or prominent. ACCENTUATE. I was like, for some reason, like eccentric. ECCENTRIC. Started to like work in there. So I'm like, wait, is it accentuate or Accentuate. I like accentuate because, like, to make something more, it stands out more. It's less the norm. It's more eccentric. Hey Siri, define eccentric.
Which word? E-C-C-E-N-T-R-I.
What's eccentric?
As an adjective, it means of a person or their behavior, unconventional and slightly strange. Do you want to hear the next one?
Yes. I said yes, but it's not going to read it. Noun, it's a person of unconventional and slightly strange views or behavior. It's an eccentric person. So unconventional, slightly strange. Unconventional is the word that I was looking for yesterday. I think I kept talking about how, like, it's not traditional or conservative. It's more unconventional. But eccentric is also a word. Define eccentric.
Which word? E-C-C. Eccentric means not centrally placed or not having its axis or other part placed centrally.
Oh, EXCENTRIC. Oh, literally eccentric, from the center. It's removed from the center. It's left the center. So there's this accentuate, eccentric, and eccentric. That eccentric word, it reminds me of what I've been feeling Libra energy like, which also reminds me of, it's not necessarily that good always wins. It's not necessarily that the higher vibration always wins out. It's the one of more intensity. And I talked yesterday with that 8. It might have been on the other channel. I think it was on this one. I don't remember. But it was about shifting that 8, because a lot of times we have the 8 sort of lower on the scale. Either way, it's eccentric because it's not really the middle of the scale, but it's been in the lower. So we've experienced a primarily lower, we've experienced the lower side of what we have to experience, at least collectively. And as personally as we shift our own scales higher and higher up, then collectively the average, like, it averages out higher. Right. And I'm not getting into spiritual statistics with the mean, the median, and the mode, because I'm hungry, and talking about this makes me hungrier, and it makes me warmer, like hotter. It's expending more energy. I don't know. Do I have anything to eat? I got some veggie straws. Where are my veggie straws at? I'll eat some veggie straws and I'll drink some water. Because I kind of want to get into this. I'll just ramble and rant until he tells me he's ready to play this game. And then I'll just end it whenever he says he's ready to play this game. Somebody knows something. And I know. And they know. And because I know and they know, and spirit for gosh darn sure know. Everybody knows. So what's that one song? It's Animal by, it's not Mike Snow. Because Mike Snow Animal is, I change shape just to hide in this place, but I'm still an animal. Nobody knows it but me when I slip. Yeah, I slip. I'm still an animal. I'm starting to get the shakes. Oh my gosh. It's like my body is trying to burn calories that I don't have. I said we're going to dive into this. The scale. The more people, spiritual statistics with the mean, the median, and the mode. I would say the energy that wins out is the mode. The mode is the number that appears the most, right? Hey Siri, define mode.
A way or manner in which something occurs or is experienced, expressed, or done.
Not that way.
Do you want to hear the next one?
A value that occurs most frequently in a given set of data. That's the third definition. Okay. So yeah, the mode is the one that occurs most frequently. Well,
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please
I love Siri. I was on somebody's live yesterday, and they Siri went off, and then somebody was like, "Patrick manifested Siri" or something. Oh, I was like, I love Siri, and I was talking about Siri during the course of the live too. That's another thing. I kind of referenced it. I talked about it on my other channel yesterday, but I didn't call it by name. I've been feeling community for a minute. I was like, not necessarily seeing it in a spiritual sense. I was like, oh, maybe it's a professional community. And it could still be a professional community because I'm having a Saturn return in my 11th house. Also, my son is in the 11th house. So organizations and committees and things like that, I'm having a return to that energy. Um, but maybe it is spiritual communities. And honestly, I was engaging in a channel. I haven't really engaged too much, too frequently lately. Um, and it was fun. I was in at the beginning. I stayed around. I was like in and out, but I stuck around for a hot minute before I went running around with my mom because she had errands to do. And then we ended up at my grandma's house for hours because she had to help my grandma with something. But then I got some dinner because, I was at my grandma's house. It wasn't like full blown dinner because, we wasn't going to eat all her food. But my grandpa had already ate. So we ate some. Um, Honestly, it's like she should have had more. Oh, no. Anyway, after I got off, I was like, wow, that was fun. It was fun engaging with people in a space that was spiritual but still fun. I think sometimes, like, I would love to dive like really deep. And it's not that you can't do both. It's a space that, it's both. There's some deep diving and there's some points where it's lighter and more comical. And I was like, wow, I kind of sort of missed this. And then I was like, oh, snap. Kind of sort of triggered me back to previous experiences I've had with community on the spiritual side of YouTube that kind of sort of devolve into spaces that aren't that great. There's like a lot of drama, there's a lot of egos, and I'm not really interested in either. Um, there was a point in time, honestly, where I bought into it and it was hosted on this very channel. And honestly, I don't know if I talked about it, but like for a little bit, I was like, okay. But then for me personally, like it went too far and too long, and I wasn't into it. And I brought it up, and somebody was like, well, like don't act like you weren't doing it and whatever either. I was like, I'm not gonna act like I wasn't participating. But it didn't feel good. And honestly, I thought about deleting my channel because I didn't like that energy being here. But I was like, you know what? I think I did end up privating the videos. Um, and I was like, I'll just like move forward with this channel because to like move to a different channel is like to try to make it not happen. And like as I'm talking about this, the reason why I mentioned I privated the videos is because it's like that could be seen as me like trying to do the same, like pretending like it didn't happen. Honestly, it's just an energy that I don't want to be up. Like the people who were there, no. And I'm not gonna pretend like I kind of sort of wasn't in on it. But I'm not really a fan of is like attacking someone's or like criticizing someone's like gift or ability or how they use their gift or ability. Now, if we want to make like an observation about it, like that's one thing. But again, for me, there's a line where it goes too far. But anyway, after that, I was kind of sort of over communities on YouTube in general because It seems like no matter where you go, like in the beauty community, the spiritual community, the like newsy entertainment community, and like wherever people are gathered, there's going to be drama. But again, I'm not a fan. And so a part of me was like, "Ooh." But then another part of me was like, that doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to be the experience in this space. And so I'll be open to it. And again, it's something that I've been feeling within myself before I was noticing it outside of myself. Before I was like, oh, I'm having a Saturn return in Aquarius in my 11th house. Before it like came out in cards or anything, it's one of the things that I've noticed as I've lived life. And I can't remember why I started talking about that. I don't know. But I think it's a lot more complex than just the mean, just the median, or just the mode when it comes to spiritual statistics. Because so the mode has an influence because it's like the most prominent energy. Now, a collection, like if you have lots of fairly high modes around the same number, then that's what would push the average closer to that. And then the mean or the median would also, because the median is the number like in the middle, right? So if you have like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 10, if you have 9 1s and a 10, what would the average be? Goodness. Hold up. Actually, I'm glad I'm doing this because I'm out of school right now and I don't want to lose my. Oh, wait, that's 19. 9 1s is 9. And then 10. So 19 divided by 2 is like what, 4.10, 10.5. 19 divided by 2 is 10.5. So that would put the mean, the average, at slightly above the highest value in that set. But the median and the mode would both be 1. And if 10 is the highest you can get, right? Well, let's use 9 because we're talking about 1 to 9, right? So 9 plus 9 is 18. Divided by 10 is 1.8. I think I did that wrong. 19 divided by 10 is 1.9. I did that all the way wrong. I know math, y'all. I promise. I promise. And so the average would be 1.9, which is about almost 2. And I think it's another reason why that service to others is so important. And it's also a reason why like spiritual meccas can be important for harboring a sense of connection or for providing a safe space. But there's a reason why spiritual people are placed all over the world. Because if you collect all the 10s in one space and everywhere else is a 1, then it drags down the overall average. And it's the frequency of the highest intensity that wins out. And so we get globally, things aren't that great. But when you have a spiritual or religious or just a kind hearted person in general in an area that is themselves, what it does is it elevates that space. So it lifts those 1s. I said we would use 9s. So let's start at a baseline 2 because everybody ain't even on the 3. We'll start at a baseline 2. And then it's like more, yeah, let's say baseline 3, some at 2, some at 4. And then you're trying to move it up to 5. To move the collective, the average to a 5, you're probably gonna have to be like at least a 7, 7, 8, or 9, because there's a lot of 3s. So let's say there's like 10 people. So 3 times 9 is 27. 27 plus, let's say you're at 5, is 5 is 32. 32 divided by 10 is a 3.2. So we're still in the 3D. There's a lot of threes. If you're at a 5 because you're manifesting 5D consciousness, so you're coming into a space where you're in 5D consciousness, but you're not doing anything to raise the vibration or the awareness around you, you're still on that 3D. So you've moved from a solid 3, because 3 times 10 is 30, divided by the 10 is 3. So your average is a 3. When you move up to 5, you move the average to a 3.2. And that goes back to what I was saying about like how it seems like a lot of people are like, we're the chosen ones. Let's build these arcs to get to the 5D. But what you're really doing is you're manifesting a Titanic situation where you think you're making an arc to go on to somewhere else, but it's not producing enough change to actually get you there. And, some people survived the Titanic and they went, back to the world they came from. Now, if you go up to 7, oh, it's 2:22, and my buddy just sent me a message. Okay. All right. I guess I'll end it here. I ain't even make it all the way to March, but that's fine. So math, back to the math. Let's say you get to a 7, right? So we have 27 plus 7, which is 34. So that's a 3.4. We still haven't broken 3. But if you hit the 7, and let's say you elevate people to a 5. So let's say we have 15, because that's 3 5s. And then we have, all right, that's 5 3s. And then we have 4 5s plus 20, plus the 7 that you are. We divide that by 10 in total. Now it's 4.2. Now you've successfully navigated out of the 3 to elevate to the 4. It's 4.2 now. That's 3 5s. You've done your part as a 7 to elevate some of the. Let me slow down. That's 5 3s. You've done your part as a 7 to elevate some of those remaining 4 3s to 5s. So you have, 5 3s, 4 5s, and you, the 7. You've created a 4.2 in your little network. Now let's say that the people that you elevate to 5s elevate other people to 4s. So there's 1 3 plus 4 4s, which is 16, plus 5 4s, which is 20, plus your 7, and it's 46. So it's over the hump to get to the 5. Because now instead of a 4.2 average, it's a 4.6 average, which could round up. Basically, it gets you closer to the 5. But to get to the 5, either everyone's going to have to be at 5, which probably isn't going to happen because of choice and because of transitions. I mean, over time, sure, but immediately, not necessarily. You know what? I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, because why stop myself from manifesting that? It can happen. Eating veggie straws and drinking water was a good call. I feel like I got the shakes less. But it requires more than you just being at the 5. And it also requires more than you being selfish and not doing anything to positively raise and impact those who otherwise wouldn't necessarily get there. And not everyone can do that. Not everyone has the patience. I'm not going to say that I do on this platform, but in my day-to-day life, I would. I'm actually a lot more patient than you may believe because of how I speak. And I still care about people even if I don't like them. Like, I'm not going to do anything to spite anybody, or I'm not going to wish anything negative on most people at the very least. even if I don't like them or I don't agree with them. Because I don't know, it's just, why would I do that? But talk, Patrick. Brain. Where was the train? That's what it requires. Sometimes you got to go beyond. Hey, solar fire, to get what you want on a collective sense. All that from when the moon shone, we did not see the candle. So doth the greater glory dim the less. All right, well, I gotta go. It's time to hang out with my buddy. What does email say? Ooh, a career fair. That's the second email of career fairs I got today. Hopefully this one has something I want. I'm just playing. Kind of. Anyway, that's what I got. I'll talk to y'all later. It was interesting. Um, yeah. So there is a certain part where, service to self, you elevate yourself, but you also do a little bit in the community, or at least like be a nice person, brighten somebody's day by being maybe a little patient, a little kind, giving somebody a smile. I was like, wow, like all of my other customers today have been like terrible, but you, sir, or ma'am, you've been decent. Thank you for making my shift a little less sucky. Like, you're welcome, no problem. Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. Because, I mean, if you weren't here, I wouldn't be able to get whatever service or good I'm trying to get. So I appreciate it. And I don't need to make your job or your day or your life any more difficult. But yeah, spiritual statistics and arithmetic, mean, median, and mode. It ain't necessarily that good or right always wins in the end. Because, there was some stuff that wasn't right for a very long time, and it didn't win until the collective majority really shifted towards that side. Some of it has, to a certain degree, and then we see how much it hasn't. But all things in their time. Don't give up, right? And you're on Earth. There are no ejector pods to get out of it, unfortunately. So, at the end of the day, do what's right for you. I hope you find anything and everything that you need in this moment. I hope you have the eyes to see that some of the things that you're asking for, you're queued up to receive, and maybe already in the position of receiving. It may require something of you that you didn't necessarily expect. Because again, if we're manifesting 5D consciousness, we're also manifesting some 7, 8s, and 9s who will impact their communities or the world enough to raise some 2s and 3s to, like 4s and 5s. Also, some 2s and 3s will also, naturally sort of get to 4, 5, and 6, and then collectively raise that average. And again, with the 333, with the 3333, 7, hold up, wait, let's see, 10 fingers. So 3333, 4444. Hold up, wait, did I do math wrong? No, because it was 3, 4444, 55557. So 3 and 7. So it'd be like 4444, 5555. 4.5 would be the median, like between 4 and 5 in the middle. And then the average was like a 4.6. So that's like it shifts it more and more. I don't know. I hope you get something if you watch this that resonate. I hope you're happy. I hope you're having a good whatever whenever you're acting in alignment to make that what you wish to experience your reality. And I hope you realize that sometimes to get it, you got to do stuff that you wouldn't necessarily think that you got to do, but it needs to be done before you get whatever. So if you're manifesting whatever, you're also manifesting to the things that need to be done to get you there. But you have to have the bravery, courage, and decision making ability, to actually accept it when those opportunities come. Because, if not, you don't get anything. So